the star of the show there was JD Sports, whose shares rose by 8.25% to an all-time high. Well, more on that story now. The stock market value of JD Sports has surged to just shy of £4 billion after it reported an 81% leap in full-year pre-tax profits to £238 million. JD also said that an investigation into working practices at a site in Rochdale in a Channel 4 documentary were not balanced. It asked Deloitte to investigate after the film showed workers at its Kingsway warehouse complain of prison conditions. Well, Peter Cowgill, the executive chairman, joins me now. So, Peter, good to see you. You mentioned in the statement there the athleisure trend for sportswear, sports apparel. It's been running for a few years now in Europe. Just how long can you carry on riding this wave?
I don't think it's actually a trend. I think it's a culture. I think there's been a significant culture change towards bars, urbanisation, local bars in places like Manchester, Newcastle, etc., gyms, budget gyms. So I think it's a way of life. I think it's a lifestyle, and I think the apparel and the footwear both tie in with that.
Now, one of the interesting things about your results today is online. Your sales were up 66% year on year, but it's still only about 13% of the business. I mean, what proportion of total sales will online eventually be, do you think?
It's increasing every year, to be fair, and it's outstripping store growth. But I think there's a place for both on the high street, and we have the benefit really of both channels. And we have, you've got to remember some of the lower demographic, lower social economic people, and the younger people still don't have access to credit cards, etc. So they still want to shop in store.
So how nervous are you about? We've just been talking about a squeeze on disposable incomes, rising inflation, falling wages, potentially. How nervous are you about that?
It's not the main thing that keeps me awake at night, because I always look at the micro performance of the business rather than the macroeconomic side, because there's one I can influence and one I can't influence, and that's the way we focus.
Gotcha. Now, what about this Channel 4 documentary? You've said it was imbalanced. Nothing to see, everyone move along now. Deloitte have given you a clean bill of health.
Absolutely. We're proud of the facility. We extend within reason an open invitation. We've had the DWP in since then. We've had ministers in, and everybody's amazed by the facility. It's a very high-tech facility. We want the people to enjoy working there. We've had to make some minor adjustments as we were making beforehand, and we continue to do. We're always looking at areas to improve the business generally, and that's included. But that, in my opinion, was an unbalanced representation.
I mean, now you've been given a clean bill of health by Deloitte. You've had the MPs in to look at it. I mean, have you sought an apology from Channel 4 in that case?
No, we let sleeping dogs lie on that one.
Right.
Maybe every dog has its day in the future. I don't know.
And what about expansion? I mean, you've built these new stores in Cologne and Brussels during the last year. You're opening Malaysia, Australia. I mean, where next for JD?
Well, we've got plenty of territories to go at. You know, we're relatively mature in a number of the overseas territories, so we'll carry on developing those territories that we've already identified. But as opportunities arise, as long as we've got the bandwidth and as long as we're performing at these sort of levels, then we'll carry on with it.
And what about outdoors, briefly? Blacks and Millets finally made a profit for you after 5 years of trying.
What did we say?
Yeah.
Hey, absolutely. I mean, really pleasing for the management and the team in Blacks and Millets, because it's nice when we're producing such great results to give some accolades to them, and they've done a sterling job. It wasn't easy. That was a very busted flush in many ways, and now it's taking its rightful place on the high street.